Sir, the human's heart rate is 68 beats per minute. Instructor Zylax stared at the biometric display, his secondary eyelids flickering in disbelief. That's impossible. Check the sensors again. I've checked them 4 times, Kaeldra replied, her voice tight with professional concern. The simulation just killed 47 cadets across 3 training cycles. Hull breach, explosive decompression, cascade reactor failure, everything designed to trigger maximum survival panic response. Every other species registers between 180 and 240 BPM. The human cadet's pulse actually dropped from 72. Zylax pulled up the security footage. There was Emma Johnson, human cadet from the Sol system, floating in the simulation pod as alarms shrieked and emergency lighting painted everything crimson. Her face showed mild concentration, the same expression she wore during morning calisthenics. Around her, the holographic ship tore itself apart in exact recreation of the Viridian Station disaster that had killed 8,000 personnel. Emma reached out calmly, adjusted 3 control panels in sequence, isolated the reactor breach, and stabilized the life support grid. Her breathing never changed rhythm. This is the 3rd time this week, Kaeldra continued. Pulling up additional files, 3 different human cadets, identical response patterns. Charlotte Brown maintained 65 BPM during the Cascade virus scenario, the one where 90% of species-specific panic response triggers activate simultaneously. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Mia Jones actually yawned halfway through the contested boarding simulation. Perhaps their equipment is malfunctioning, Zylax suggested, reaching for any rational explanation. We tested that theory, replaced every sensor, direct neural monitoring, chemical analysis, blood samples. Kaeldra's voice dropped. Sir, according to their stress hormones, these humans are more relaxed during catastrophic emergencies than our cadets are during lunch breaks. Zylax felt his own pulse climbing. The Galactic Military Academy had operated for 12,000 years on one fundamental principle. Crisis response training worked because every known species exhibited predictable panic biology. Heart rate spikes, stress hormone floods, decision-making impairment, survival instinct activation, universal constants across 500 member species. Humans were breaking every single baseline. What does Commandant Jotaro say? He's convening the Academy Board in 1 hour. There's talk of expelling the entire human cadet class for biological abnormalities. Kaeldra pulled up another chart. Sir, our entire curriculum is built on panic response management. If humans don't panic, we can't train them. And if we can't train them, we can't certify them for crisis response roles. Surely they panic under something, Zylax protested. We've escalated the scenarios 3 times beyond standard protocols. Yesterday, we ran Emma Johnson through the Extinction Protocol simulation, the one we're not supposed to use because it causes permanent psychological damage to most species. It's literally designed to trigger existential dread response. And 64 BPM. She made a joke about the visual effects afterward, asked if we could make the next one more challenging. Kaeldra's appendages trembled slightly. Sir, I've been studying crisis psychology for 30 years. Every species panics. It's fundamental survival biology. But according to these readings, humans don't have a panic response. Or if they do, nothing we can simulate triggers it. Zylax watched Emma exit her pod, stretching casually like she'd just finished a nap. She was chatting with another human cadet, laughing about something. Get me everything in their medical files, he said quietly. There has to be an explanation. That's the other problem, sir. I already checked. Their medical files are flagged across all systems. Multiple reviewers mark the data as impossible or file corruption. Why? Because no species could survive the baseline stress levels humans call normal. The testing escalated over the next 48 hours. Emma Johnson stood in the simulation chamber while Zylax and 6 senior instructors monitored from the observation deck. This time they'd combined scenarios, multiple simultaneous catastrophic failures that would require any rational being to prioritize their own survival over mission objectives. Initiating cascade, Zelax announced. The simulation erupted, reactor meltdown, life support failure, enemy boarding parties, hull breaches on 3 decks, biological contamination, fire in the medical bay, and just to ensure maximum psychological pressure, civilian evacuation pods with dying occupants screaming for help. Emma's heart rate climbed to 74 BPM. "She's barely registering as conscious," breathed Kaldra, staring at the monitors. "Those stress hormone levels, sir, they're decreasing. How is that possible?" On screen, Emma methodically triaged the crises, isolated the reactor, vented the contamination, sealed the hull breaches with emergency foam, redirected the enemy boarding parties into sections she deliberately depressurized, stabilized the medical bay, contacted the evacuation pods with calm instructions. She completed the scenario in 18 minutes. The Academy record was 47 minutes, set by a Vexthul combat specialist after 8 years of training. "Bring in the other humans," Commandant Jotaro ordered from the back of the observation deck. His translator barely concealed his agitation. Charlotte Brown and Mia Jones entered. They ran them through progressively worse scenarios. Chemical warfare, psychological torture simulations, scenarios where the trainee themselves was injured and dying, situations where saving others required certain self-sacrifice. All 3 humans maintained pulse rates between 60 and 80 BPM. "This is impossible," declared R. Hill, the Academy's senior medical officer. "I've reviewed their physiology. They're carbon-based oxygen breathers with standard cardiovascular systems. They should panic. They must panic. It's biological law." "Maybe they're defective," suggested another instructor. "Some kind of mutation that removes survival instinct?" "We tested that too," Kaldra replied tiredly. "They show appropriate fear responses to individual threats. They flinch at sudden movements, avoid painful stimuli, recognize danger. They're not broken. They're just not panicking." "The other cadets are requesting psychological counseling," added Zelax. "They're traumatized from watching the humans remain calm during scenarios they found terrifying." The Zealer delegation filed a formal complaint. They claim human reactions are unsettling and indicative of predatory psychology. Jotaro's appendages rippled with stress. "We've trained 500,000 officers through this academy. Our methods are based on 50,000 years of established crisis psychology research. Every species exhibits predictable panic escalation. This is fundamental biological science, universal constant. These humans are violating principles we've built our entire understanding of crisis response upon." "What do we do, Commandant?" asked Rahil. "I've contacted the Galactic Medical Council. They're sending their top crisis psychologists." Jotaro turned to the window, watching Emma laugh with Charlotte about something. "In the meantime, we need answers. Interview the humans. Ask them directly, how are they staying calm?" Zelax approached Emma after the simulations concluded. "Cadet Johnson, we need to understand your crisis response. What techniques are you using to manage your panic response?" Emma looked confused. "Panic? Sir, those were training scenarios. Why would I panic during training? The scenarios simulate actual catastrophic emergencies. They're designed to trigger—" "Sure, but they're simulations," Emma interrupted, smiling. "It's not like it's a real emergency. That'd be different." "How different?" Emma shrugged. "I mean, real emergencies are stressful. These are just practice." Zelax felt something cold settle in his core. "Cadet Johnson, what do you consider a real emergency?" "Oh, you know, car accidents, house fires, active shooters, natural disasters, the usual stuff." The usual stuff. The Galactic Medical Council arrived within 2 rotations. 3 of the galaxy's leading crisis psychologists who'd literally written the textbooks on panic response biology. They lasted 6 hours before their professional certainty began cracking. "This can't be right," Dr. Sinara muttered. reviewing Emma's medical history for the fifth time. These baseline cortisol levels, they're higher than what we'd see in a Corvax warrior during active combat. But according to her personal logs, this reading is from a relaxing weekend. Look at this incident. Report, added Dr. Lirana, pulling up another file. When Emma was 14 solar cycles old, her dwelling caught fire. She evacuated 3 family members, contacted emergency services, and administered medical care to a neighbor with smoke inhalation. Her own medical scan afterward showed elevated but manageable stress hormones. We'd expect those levels from someone who witnessed a minor traffic incident, not someone who nearly died in a structural fire. There must be an error in the translation software, insisted Dr. Vexia. Perhaps we're misunderstanding human stress indicators. We considered that, Kyeldra replied. We brought in xenolinguistics experts. The translations are accurate. When humans say normal Tuesday, they literally mean a typical, unremarkable day. Then what do they consider remarkable? That's what concerns us, said Zilax quietly. He pulled up Earth's historical database. I've been researching human evolutionary history, their homeworld. He trailed off, not quite believing what he was reading. Dr. Sinara took over the display. Her appendages went rigid. This says Earth experiences regular catastrophic weather events, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, multiple different disaster types that occur regularly. That's not possible, Dr. Vexia protested. No species could develop civilization under those conditions. There's more, Zilax continued. Earth has thousands of predator species, venomous creatures, diseases, parasites, and humans evolved alongside all of them. Then they developed civilization while simultaneously fighting each other in organized warfare for thousands of years. The room fell silent. Dr. Lirana's translator struggled. That's a death world. Class 12 minimum. Nothing evolves higher intelligence under those conditions. Survival demands constant vigilance. There's no opportunity for complex societal development. And yet, Commandant Jitaro said from the doorway, humans built spacefaring civilization anyway. Shall we ask them directly? They brought Emma into the conference room. She sat down, looking curious but unworried, despite being surrounded by the galaxy's top medical experts and senior military command. Cadet Johnson, Dr. Sinara began carefully. We need to understand human panic response. Our records indicate your species evolved in an environment we'd classify as hostile to intelligent life. How do humans manage constant crisis stress? Emma blinked. Constant crisis? Earth's pretty safe these days. Your planet experiences hundreds of natural disasters annually. Well, yeah, but most people aren't in those areas, and we have early warning systems now, building codes, emergency services. Emma shrugged. It's just normal risk management. Normal, Dr. Vexia repeated faintly. Your historical records indicate near constant warfare, Zilax added. Thousands of years of organized violence. Oh, that, Emma nodded. Yeah, humans used to be pretty bad at conflict resolution. We're better now, mostly. And the predators, the diseases, the environmental hazards? I mean, you learn to be careful. Check for snakes before putting on shoes. Don't drink unpurified water. Basic stuff everyone knows. Emma looked around the room. Is something wrong? You all seem stressed. Cadet Johnson, Jitaro said slowly. What would it take to make you panic? Emma considered this seriously. Honestly, I don't know. Real emergencies, you just handle them. Panicking doesn't help. You focus on what needs doing and do it. That's what emergency responders train for. You were an emergency medical technician on Earth, correct? For 3 years, yeah. What scenarios did you encounter? Car accidents mostly. Some cardiac arrests, few gunshot wounds, couple of drownings, one building collapse, typical EMT stuff. The Galactic Medical Council stared at her in collective horror. Typical, Dr. Sinara whispered. Dr. Lirana pulled up a comparison chart, her appendages trembling as she worked. I need to understand this completely. Cadet Johnson, I'm going to describe a scenario. Tell me how you'd rate it as an emergency. Sure, Emma agreed. You're in a structure when a seismic event causes partial collapse. You're trapped with several injured individuals. Air supply is limited. Rescue is uncertain. That's bad, Emma said. Priority would be medical triage, find air pockets, make noise so rescue teams can locate us, keep everyone calm. Standard disaster protocol. How stressed would you be? Scale of 1 to 10. Maybe a 6? 7 if someone's critically injured and I can't do anything about it. Lirana made a note, then pulled up Academy simulation data. This scenario I just described, it's our extreme survival protocol. We rate it as maximum psychological stress, what we'd call a 10. Most species can't complete it without severe panic response. Many require therapy afterward. Emma looked genuinely surprised. Really? But it's just an earthquake with complications. Those happen. Not to most species, Zilax said quietly. Emma, our homeworlds are stable, geologically quiet. Our evolution happened in environments where catastrophic events occur maybe once per 1,000 years. When they do, they're civilization ending. Our biology learned that disaster equals extinction. Panic is appropriate because death is virtually certain. Understanding dawned on Emma's face. Oh. So when you see danger, your instinct is, everyone dies, because that's what disaster meant evolutionarily? Correct. But humans? Emma thought about it. We had disasters constantly, multiple types, ongoing threats. If we panicked at every danger, we'd never stop panicking. We'd never get anything done. So we evolved to just handle it. Your baseline stress tolerance, Dr. Sinara said, pulling up more data, equals what we'd consider maximum survivable crisis levels, what you call relaxed. Pulse of 70, normal cortisol, that's moderate panic state for us. When you say you're stressed, your readings would indicate severe psychological breakdown in any other species. The simulations aren't failing, Kaldra added. They're working exactly as designed, to trigger panic in beings whose evolution taught them that disaster means extinction. You're not panicking because your evolution taught you that disaster means Tuesday. You learned to stay calm and fix problems because that's the only way your species survived. Charlotte Brown, who'd been brought in with Mia Jones, spoke up. So you're saying the galaxy is full of species from safe planets? Relatively, yes. Class 4 to 7 worlds, stable climates, few predators, manageable risks. Civilization developed because evolution happened in safe enough conditions to allow it. And Earth? Class 12 death world, hundreds of ways to die, constant environmental pressure. Your species shouldn't have developed higher intelligence. You should have stayed in pure survival mode. But somehow you developed civilization anyway, while still maintaining crisis management biology. Mia Jones laughed. So we're the weird ones for not panicking? You're the impossible ones, Jotaro corrected. Every principle we've built crisis psychology upon assumes panic is inevitable under sufficient pressure. You've proved that assumption wrong. Our entire training curriculum is designed to teach beings to manage panic they will experience. But you don't panic at anything we can simulate. What would panic you? Dr. Vexia asked desperately. Surely there's some threshold. Emma considered this. Honestly, when I was 10, I watched a tornado destroy my neighbor's house. That was pretty scary. I remember my heart racing. A tornado, Zilax repeated. A catastrophic weather event capable of destroying structures. It missed our house by about 100 meters. We were lucky. And you remained in the area afterward? Well, yeah, that's where we lived. You rebuild, Emma shrugged. Look, I think I understand now. You're not testing if we can handle stress. You're testing if stress breaks us, but human stress tolerance is just higher. Not because we're special, just because Earth kept trying to kill us, so we adapted. Adapted, Jotaro repeated quietly. Cadet Johnson, you just described your planet casually attempting to murder you as a child, then continued living there. Do you understand that every other species would have abandoned such a planet? But it's home, Emma said, looking confused. Where else would we go? The room fell silent as the full implications settled over them. Humans didn't conquer death worlds, they just refused to leave. 3 weeks later, Commandant Jotaro stood before the Galactic Military Council presenting his findings. We've completed comprehensive analysis of human crisis psychology, he began. Our conclusions require fundamental revision of
crisis response training protocols and combat psychology doctrine. The council chamber, representing 500 species across 12,000 systems, listened as Jotaro outlined the findings. The human evolutionary environment, the baseline stress tolerance exceeding galactic norms by orders of magnitude, the fundamental misunderstanding that had led Academy instructors to believe their simulations were failing. We recommend immediate implementation of human-specific crisis training curricula, Jotaro concluded. Standard protocols are insufficient. Additionally, we suggest reviewing human combat assignments with new understanding. What we interpreted as humans ignoring danger is actually humans correctly assessing that danger level doesn't exceed their baseline management threshold. Are you saying humans don't experience fear? Asked a council member. No, they experience appropriate fear of genuine threats. However, their threshold for what constitutes genuine threat is significantly higher than ours. What causes us to panic causes them to focus. This has implications beyond military training, another council member noted. If humans maintain cognitive function under stress that incapacitates other species, they're already dominating crisis response positions across the galaxy, Jotaro confirmed. We now understand why. They're not braver or better trained. They're biologically adapted for continuous crisis management. The Council authorized the protocol revisions. Human cadets would receive specialized training designed for their stress tolerance levels. Emergency response teams would be restructured to leverage human crisis stability. And most significantly, the galactic understanding of baseline psychology would be updated to acknowledge humans as biological outliers. Back at the academy, Emma was in the cafeteria complaining to Charlotte about the food. I swear this is the 3rd time they've served this protein paste, she grumbled. How hard is it to get decent vegetables out here? Tell me about it, Charlotte agreed. I'm more stressed about lunch than I was about that extinction simulation yesterday. Zilax, passing by with his meal, paused. Cadet Johnson, I meant to tell you, you've been selected to assist in developing our new human crisis training program. Cool, Emma said. Does it come with better food? I'll inquire with nutrition services. Thanks. Hey, do you know if there's a gym on this station? I need to work out. Sitting in simulation pods all day is making me tense. Zilax watched her go, finally understanding why humans had adapted so successfully to military life. For them, combat stress was just another Tuesday. The real challenges were mundane: bad food, lack of exercise, paperwork. He updated his personal log. Note: human baseline stress exceeds galactic maximum survival threshold. Update: human calm is inversely proportional to danger severity. When human appears most relaxed, situation is most critical. When human complains about food, actual emergency has concluded. In the medical wing, the updated crisis psychology textbooks were already being drafted. Chapter 1 now began. Previous editions operated on the assumption that all species share similar panic thresholds. Recent evidence from Death World species, specifically humans, demonstrates this assumption is fundamentally incorrect. Emma's final notation in her personal log for the day read simply, "Weird day." Instructors finally stopped acting strange about training exercises. Still confused what the fuss was about, lunch was terrible. 3:10.
Across the galaxy, crisis response protocols were being rewritten to accommodate the species that evolved to treat apocalypse as background noise. And humans, characteristically, were more concerned about the quality of cafeteria food,